without any support. So it shows a total lack of concern on the side of Gopi. So he says, but Amma does not remember me. So this statement makes it very clear that Gopi is callous towards his aged, hapless and forgetful mother. Ending line in the story, I quote from the story, "But did you remember your mother?" asked his sister. Gopi did not answer. Okay, mother did not recognize you. That's fine. She's suffering from Alzheimer's disease. She has the illness of forgetting. She cannot remember a lot of things that's happened in her life. So that's a part of her illness. But what about you? The sister reminds her elder brother. Gopi has no answer. He does not answer. Now the title of the story where I would like to focus upon, The Tattered Blanket. Why did the author choose the word blanket? Because blanket, as we understand, is used to cover our body in cold winters. It represents warmth. And here is the warmth of her son's love that she's talking about. It symbolizes the tattered soul of the mother. We can also see that this is very typical of Kamala Das's story. In most of the stories that she has written, she talks about women, the neglected women, the tormented women, the women who crave for love. And here is the mother who craves for her son's love. So it is the warmth of her son's love that she's craving for. So blanket symbolizes the warmth of Gopi's love as far as this story is concerned. Concern for women and their betrayal by society is also typical of Kamala Das's stories. Now when we look at this, there are few aspects which I would like to read from the text. The text titled Petals, Prose and Poetry, where you find that there are a few sentences or few dialogues which I would like to focus on, where who are you talking with? The old lady asks the daughter. Who has come in a car? She sees that it's her son, but she keeps asking this question a lot of times. Didn't I tell you, Amma, that it is Gopi? Asked the younger woman. Gopi, is he not in Delhi? Asked the mother. So even after seeing him, she still asks the daughter that is he not in Delhi? So the old lady, she lowered her voice and asked her daughter, whom has he married? So these are instances where we come to know that Amma has no recollection of certain memories, whereas she does remember that she has a son who had brought a blanket for her long ago while he was still studying in Madras. But here she says, the old lady, she lowered her voice and asked her daughter, whom has he married? Is it Vimla? Don't you remember Vimla? Says the daughter. The collector's daughter, asked the sister of the man. So again she asks the mother, she tries to remind her mother that it's Vimla, that's the name of the daughter-in-law. And again she says, I forget the name, said the mother apologetically. She feels sorry about the fact that she's forgotten her own daughter-in-law's name. And then she asks again, has he written to us this week, Kamala? Yes, his letters are regular. Now this is a lie. The daughter lies to her mother. Why does she do this? She does this only to give her comfort. So you find two children here. One is a son and the other is a daughter. The daughter offers comfort despite her own struggles with her widowhood. She is taking care of her mother and she doesn't want to hurt her mother. Therefore, she even chooses to lie. She says his letters are regular. Whenever his letters get delayed, I feel wretched, said the old lady. He knows it, said the daughter. That is why he writes every week. So again she's lying, says that the brother Gopi is so comforting. He's such a nice brother, such a nice son, that he's concerned about his mother. He knows that the mother would be very upset if he won't send letters. And therefore, she says, yeah, he knows about it. That's why he writes every week. Didn't I tell you how it was with her? Asked Kamala, turning to her brother. So, all this is happening in front of the mother. But she's blissfully unaware that that's Gopi who's standing in front of her. And she says, but you're far away and probably you don't care. Delhi is far away from Kerala. It's in the north. And Kerala is in the southernmost part of the country. She says, you're far away and probably you don't care. Who is standing here? Asked the mother. Who is this man who has come by car? Now, again, she knows that somebody has come. So she keeps asking, this is me, your son Gopi. I came up to Trivandrum on official visit and thought that, and before he could conclude, where does your mother live? Look at it. Instead of recollecting that, okay, the son has come after 5 years, being either thrilled or maybe she could have started complaining as to why didn't he turn up for 5 years. This is the reaction of the mother. She says, where does your mother live? Asked the old lady. Is she anyone I know? Do I know your mother? Are we known? She lives close by, he said. Now he also lies. He says she lives close by. I can never explain things to Amma, said the sister in exasperation. It's the sister's exasperation which is quite often revealed to the readers. And it is done so because it's her effort to convince her brother that how important it is to be caring, to be looking after, to be showing your love to your own mother. So the man lifted his bag onto the ledge and opened it. What is it that is there in the... He hasn't brought anything for his mother or his sister. They are his own things. So they are his files and his clothes and all that. Do you know Gopi? Asked the old lady. So now, again she is talking about her son. She knows that she has a son who's in Delhi. At times she thinks that the son is still a school-going boy. And that kind of confusion from present to past happens. He is in Delhi. She says this with a lot of pride. He is a government official. That is why he gets promotions so frequently. He gets 2,500 rupees every month. You must have surely heard of him. Yes, I know him, said the man. Please tell him that I want a new blanket. Now this is where the title is justified. Because till now there is no mention of the title. All the three characters are introduced to the reader. But this is the point where the title is justified. The mother asks for a new blanket. Tell him that I cannot stand the cold in the mornings. It's so cold here in the morning and I'm not able to bear the cold winter. So what do? When I catch a cold, it does not leave me for at least a fortnight. This is a state of old people that the resistance to any kind of illness is so low that they catch cold fast, and then it also takes a long time to heal. Ask him to send me a blanket at once, a red blanket. I had one like that years ago. So now she's trying. She doesn't remember her. She is not able to, understand that that's her son who's standing in front of her. But at the same time, she clearly remembers. It's crystal clear in her memory that her son Gopi had brought a red blanket. The color itself was red, which she remembers. So a red blanket while he was staying in the hostel. He was studying in a college hostel. He used to stay in Madras. And while he came on a summer vacation, he brought along with him a red blanket for his mother. It is that blanket that she has kept as a prized possession, as a token of love of her son. It got torn and tattered. So that tattered, it is not just the blanket that is tattered. It is here that the author is trying to talk about the tattered soul of the mother who is longing to meet her son, who misses her son so badly. I cannot use it any longer, she says. It is now like a fisherman's net. So, as we discussed earlier, the author has used a very beautiful simile here. It is fisherman's net. The tattered blanket is compared to the fisherman's net. I want a new red blanket, he says. I will tell him, said the man. Instead of saying or trying to tell his mother that it's Gopi himself who's standing, I'm your son. He doesn't say that. He says, okay, he doesn't even put in efforts to talk to his mother and tell her that he has arrived. After 5 years, he's here in front of her. But then, what does he say? Okay, I'll tell your son. Don't forget, reminded the mother, the mornings are very, very cold. I'm afraid of catching a cold. Let me go and lie down for a few minutes. I am tired, she says. My back aches. Now, these are the complaints that old people have. They have aches and they get tired and exhausted. They are not the same youth. The same youthfulness cannot be found in these old men and women. Now, as the story moves, the mother goes and then she lies down. The man's sister. Now, this is the time when she wants to confront her brother. Till now, she kept silent because she didn't want to confront her brother in the presence of her mother. Why does she do this? So that the mother should not know that the son has been indifferent towards her for 5 long years and would continue to do so for the rest of her life. So, therefore, she says, as soon as the mother goes to lie down, she faces her brother. She confronts her brother and asks him, why have you come? She asked him. It is not merely to see Amma, is it? And here he comes to justify. Why did he come? My expenses have increased, he says. It's not as you think. It's so difficult to live in a metro, in a city like Delhi. And now I have 4 children. I can't make both ends meet. Instead of inquiring about his sister's well-being, instead of asking about his mother's health, he's only talking about his own problems. He's not concerned about his sister or his mother, but it's only his own problems that he's trying to focus upon. And he's trying to seek the sympathy of his sister and he expects that she understands his problems and try to solve them. I have to maintain my status and live decently, she says. I want to sell my share of the property and carry the amount back to Delhi to put it in the fixed deposit. I came to discuss this matter with you. You will sell your land and take leave of us. Then we shall never be able to see you again. So the sister already knows about her brother's plans. Somebody who has not come for 5 years will never come now, because this time his visit was with a certain selfish motive. That is, selling the property and getting the money and going back. Once the property, his share of property is sold, why would he ever come back? So she says, then we shall never be able to see you again, said the sister. No, I shall come once a year to see Amma, he said. Whenever I get a chance to come to Kerala, I shall look you up. He says, I'll keep coming to Kerala on official visits, and whenever I happen to come to Kerala, I shall certainly come up to meet you. That's how he's trying to convince his sister, because somehow he has to convince her and convince her basically to sell his share of property. A chance to come to Kerala? Exclaimed the widow, a sob rising in the throat. She's so exasperated with her brother's indifferent behavior that she doesn't know how to react to his selfish statements. So she says, is this not the first visit after 5 years? So you say, that you'll keep coming to Kerala on official visits, and every time you come, you would visit. But then, is this not your first visit after 5 years? And this is very important. Where the age of Amma is revealed, Amma is 85 years old. She is not likely to live much longer. An 84-year-old woman, she's already reached the fag end of her lifespan. How long will she live? How could you have stayed away from her for such a long time? It is